Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Karen. Today, it's an exciting day because I have another story from the grocery store to share with you. So, first I want to tell you about customer service. So the customer service in our grocery store, and even the second grocery store that I worked in for this company, they were like the center of the store. If you had any problems or issues, if you weren't a customer or an employee, you went to customer service. And so they had a list of people who were working in the store who had first aid, who could help anybody who got hurt. They also knew which managers were on duty, so if there was a problem in the store, we could go up to customer service and say, could you please page or call the manager on duty to come down? So customer service was a pretty key part of the store and for employees and customers. So my story starts in floral again. I was working not long after I had gotten yelled at by the assistant store manager, and so I was working in floral, and it was a freight day, and I was unpacking all the boxes of cut flowers and taking the buckets out and cutting the stems and refreshing the water and all that stuff. And I was unpacking a box of Gerber daisies. Now, Gerber daisies are a little special plant because they have very delicate stems, and the stems act as a straw that pulls the water up to the flower. And it's important that the stems get cut, like just a little bit, like a ½ an inch to an inch, every 2 days or so that the Gerber daisies stay very fresh and alive. So when they come in, it's important for you to cut the stems and put them in very fresh water with some floral food in there, and then put them out on the floor. So we had gotten the new daisies in, and there were some old daisies that had to get thrown away because they didn't look so good. So I had an empty bucket, and there was a plastic top on top of this bucket. So bucket, plastic top, and that had 9 holes like this, that you would stick the Gerber daisy bunches in. And this just helps support the stems because the stems are very delicate for Gerber daisies. So I had an empty Gerber daisy bucket, and it had a plastic lid on. So I was trying to peel the lid off of the Gerber daisy bucket, and my finger got cut right there. This finger got cut along the plastic. And I did my favorite method of paper towel and pressure and then Scotch tape for like a good 15 minutes, and it would not stop bleeding because it was a pretty deep cut. It didn't need stitches, but it was sure bleeding pretty good. And so I went up to customer service, and the 2 Ninas were up there. Now, Nina 1 was the girlfriend of the assistant store manager, who he and I just get along so wow. And Nina 2 was someone who I got along with pretty well. And she was working, this is self-checkout, and they were just right beside each other, self-checkout and customer service. So I go up to customer service and I say, hey, who's on first aid today? I need to get a bandage because my finger is all bloody and icky. And they're like, yeah, there's nobody. If you need a bandage, go buy one from pharmacy. And I was like, well, don't we have like health and safety in this store? There's gonna be something. Please. And they're like, no, there's nobody. There's nobody in first aid today at all. Can't get you a bandage. Sorry, go buy one. And that was it. And I'm like, what? Come on, tell me who's in first aid today. There's nobody. Nobody. Both of them are adamant. Both Ninas are like, nope, nobody. So then I'm like, I am not deterred by these 2 fluffballs, mindless little girls, because mostly everybody is 30 years younger than me that work at these stores, and that's one of the main reasons I really enjoyed working at these stores, is that there was so much fun to be had in produce. Most of the people were like 22, 20, 18, all boys, and I get along really well with young boys. I raised 2 young boys and just always had fun with them. So there we are with all the boys. Anyway, so anyways, these girls, they're like, no, there's nobody for first aid, but I am not deterred. So I march down to the warehouse, and this was before they started locking the first aid doors. So I'm in the first aid room and I'm jiggling the first aid cabinet. I want a bandage, let me a bandage. And the receiver comes in and he's like, yeah, what are you doing, Karen? Stop that. That's not very good. And so I'm like, oh, I just need a bandage. Look at my bloody hand. The paper towel was all soaked through with blood, and I'm like, I could cut my finger, and the girls up front wouldn't call first aid for me. So he's like, okay, I'll totally call first aid. So he knew who was on, and it was the assistant bakery manager who had just gotten a promotion from the front end. She was ahead of the front end, and so she knew Nina, not customer service Nina, but self-checkout Nina really well. And then so she came in and she wrote up an incident report, what had happened. Gerber Davies Bucket attacked me and gave me a bandage, and all was good. And so then I told her, you know, the Ninas up front were not very helpful. I tried to get them to call first aid. They wouldn't. They told me I could buy a bandage from pharmacy if I wanted one. And she was like, well, they know better than that. And so she was going to talk to them. And I think she must have talked to them, because for the next few shifts that I worked with the Nina from self-checkout, Nina gave me the death glare. The look. Every time, like, she would put her chin down to her neck and just like for like weeks. And I was like, okay, fine. And I guess the good thing about that is because I don't think about what people think about me, because I know who I am and I'm very comfortable with who I am, and very rarely take more than 2 seconds to think about somebody as petty as these two Ninas were. So that was my desire to get another bandage. I could never get a bandage there without a lot of drama. It seems first Da, and then the two Ninas who just didn't want me to get a bandage for my cut, or to write up an incident report. Like, what if my finger had gotten infected and I couldn't get an incident report written up? There would be no trail of it. What do I say? The two Ninas wouldn't allow me to call first aid. So that was pretty bad on their part, and I don't know if they understood the implications that it could have had for me and for other people who they denied. How many other staff employees were they just like, yeah, no, we're just too bored, we don't want to do it. Oh my God. So that is it. That is my story from the grocery store today. My struggles and my fight to get a bandage when the two Ninas would say no to me. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, and share me with a friend, because you know I'd love to meet them. I want you all to have a great day, because I know I will. Bye-bye.